and welcome to this edition of Express News, your window to news from across India and the world. The top 100 stories making headlines at this hour. So let's begin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses huge rally in Kolkata. PM lashes out at Mamata government for indulging in vote bank politics, urging the state to vote for real change. Addressing the public gathering in West Bengal, Prime Minister says enthusiasm and energy of the crowd sending a message from Kolkata to Delhi. Adds, now West Bengal has made up its mind for Parivartan or change. Prime Minister reiterates that if BJP wins the assembly polls, it will work to usher in a golden age for West Bengal, a Sonar Bangla that will strengthen the history and culture of Bengal. PM says, driven by narrow political compulsions, Mamata Banerjee has been stalling welfare schemes rolled out by the union government. Because of this, lakhs of the needy in Bengal have not been able to receive free treatment worth 5 lakh rupees under Ayushman Bharat. PM alleges out of the 1700 crore rupees relief package offered by the central government for relief work after cyclone Amphan, state government has only spent 609 crore rupees. Left over 1100 crore rupees has been siphoned off by TMC. PM Modi inaugurates extension of metro railway from Noapara to Dakshineshwar and flags off first service easing out access to Kali temples at Kalighat and Dakshineshwar. PM also dedicates doubling of Azimganj to Kharghat road section, part of Howrah, Bandel, Azimganj stations, and fourth line between Dankuni and Baruipara of Howrah Bardhaman Cord line, and third line between Rasulpur and Magra. Earlier in Assam, Prime Minister's third visit to Dhemaji saw him gifting projects worth 3,000 crore rupees related to oil and gas as well as education sectors of the region. PM accuses the previous governments of neglecting the state and the Northeast, reaffirms his commitment to development of the region. Prime Minister says Northeast will be the new growth engine of India. Says he is inspired to work more for the people of Assam. The union and state governments are working together for the balanced development of the state. PM Modi says Northeast will be the new growth engine of India. Says he is inspired to work more for the people of Assam, and that the centre and state governments are working together for balanced development of Assam, and major basis of this is state's infrastructure. Prime Minister stresses necessity for India to continuously become self-sufficient to increase strength and also capabilities. Says over the years, refining capacity in India has greatly increased, especially at Bongaigaon refinery. PM Modi addresses webinar on effective implementation of union budget provisions in the defence sector. Says webinar assumes great significance as it is focused on important issue of making the country's defence sector self-reliant. Prime Minister says there used to be hundreds of ordnance factories before independence. In both the world wars, weapons on a large scale were exported from India, but for many reasons, the system has not been strengthened as much as it should have been after independence. Prime Minister says his government has relied on capabilities of engineers and scientists on developing Tejas fighter aircraft. Today, Tejas is flying gracefully in the skies. A few weeks ago, an order worth 48,000 crore rupees was placed for Tejas. Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal expresses gratitude to Prime Minister, states that PM Modi has taken care of the development and welfare of Assam like a parent cares for his child. Also says Assamese government is committed to work together with the centre to make India self-reliant. Sagar policy of India was reaffirmed when India and Mauritius signed exchange of $100 million defence line of credit that will facilitate procurement of defence assets guided by the needs of Mauritius. Both nations also exchanged letters on provision of Dornier aircraft and Dhruv helicopter by India. India once again proves to be a reliable partner and a responsive friend. India and Mauritius sign exchange of cooperation instruments on construction of renal transplant unit, solar power plant and consumer protection and legal metrology. EAM symbolically hands over 100,000 additional doses of commercially procured made in India COVID vaccines. AIADMK and BJP ally with the AINRC in Puducherry have left the decision about the next course of action, including staking claim to form a government, to their respective central leaderships. And a huge setback for the Congress party ahead of the polls in Puducherry. V. Narayanasamy government loses majority in the Union Territory. Chief Minister Narayanasamy fails to win a trust vote called for by Lieutenant Governor Tamizishai Soundararajan after 5 ruling alliance MLAs resign over the last 1 month. Puducherry Chief Minister Narayanasamy submits his resignation to Lieutenant Governor Tamizishai Soundararajan after his government loses majority. Speaking inside the assembly after the vote, Narayanasamy says his government has ruled for 5 years and now they will again go to the people. Maharashtra issues fresh restrictions in state banning religious, social and political gatherings from Monday. Restrictions in Pune on the movement of people from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. for non-essential activities kicks off from today. Schools, colleges and private coaching classes will remain closed till February 28th. Amravati district in Maharashtra's Vidarbha region placed under week-long lockdown from 8 p.m. on February 22nd. Lockdown will be enforced till 8 a.m. on the 1st of March. In Amravati, all shops except those dealing in essential commodities to remain shut, along with the government and private educational institutions. People can buy items of daily need from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Cinema houses, gyms will remain shut and gatherings will not be permitted. Mumbai police issues warnings to citizens to comply with regulations and keep wearing masks in public places. Police on Sunday say they are now authorized to issue challans to violators for not wearing masks. India registers record in number of COVID-19 cumulative tests, crossing 21 crore 15 lakh tests. 6,20,216 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours. With 2,393 testing labs in the country, including 1,220 government labs and 1,173 private labs, daily testing capacity has got a substantial boost. India's cumulative national positivity rate is presently pegged at 5.20%. India's cumulative recoveries stand at 1 crore 6 lakhs. Recovery rate is 97.22%. Recovered cases exceed active cases by 71.3 times. 9,695 patients have recovered and been discharged in the past 24 hours. As on 22nd February 2021, vaccination coverage was 1 crore 11 lakh 16,854 through 2 lakh 32,317 sessions. Second dose of COVID-19 vaccination started on the 13th of February for those beneficiaries who have completed 28 days after receipt of the first dose. Yogi Adityanath-led government Monday presents 550,270.78 crore budget for 2021-22 in the State Assembly. Budget was Uttar Pradesh's first paperless budget. Size of this year is 5,50,270. Supreme Court stops regulatory approval for Future Group's $3.4 billion asset sale to Reliance Industries Limited, effectively halting the deal and marking another victory for Amazon. Domestic equity markets trading nearly 2% down in afternoon deals on Monday. BSE Sensex trading below 50,000 plunges by 1,145.44 points to close at 49,744. Nifty 50 index gives up by 306 points to close at 14,000. 675. Gold prices gain by 382 to settle at 46,579 rupees per 10 grams today. Silver prices also jumped to 69,414 rupees per kg. Price of the metal registered a hike of 0.55%. Rupee jumped 16 paise to close at 72.49 against the US dollar today. Crude oil prices gained by 0.84% to reach 4,240 rupees per barrel. Massive demonstration against military coup begins in Myanmar. Cities across the nation witnessing swelling crowds protesting the takeover by the military junta. Businesses shut in Myanmar on Monday in a general strike called to oppose military coup, and thousands of protesters gather in towns and cities despite a chilling message from the junta that confrontation would cost more lives. Activists call for protest on Monday, dubbing the date, which 22nd Feb 2021 encompasses the number 25 times. Number is an allusion to August 8, 1988, which had number 8 4 times. That was the date when a pro-democracy uprising kicked off nearly 33 years ago, ending in a bloodbath. International Atomic Energy Agency reaches temporary bilateral understanding with Iran to salvage the nuclear deal. As per the agreement arrived, IAEA will continue with necessary verification and monitoring activities for up to 3 months. Pratt & Whitney engines and Boeing 777 aircraft become center of investigations and inspections after a United Airlines flight using a Pratt & Whitney engine emergency landed over the weekend. 26-year-old Boeing 777 sheds debris over Denver on Saturday after its right engine, a P&W 4000, fails mid-flight. There were 231 passengers and 10 crew aboard. US regulators announce extra inspections on Boeing 777 jets using the same type of engine that shed debris over Denver on Saturday, while Japan went further, suspending their use while it considers what action to take. Nearly 30,000 Texans are still without power on Sunday, while half of the Texas population is impacted by water issues. Houston residents in particular have been frustrated with broken pipes and caved-in ceilings, which is among the damage the bizarre weather recently brought. Severe flooding in Indonesia's West Java province forces 4,000 people from their homes, affecting 25,000 in total. This was after Citarum River breached the embankment, gushing water and inundating large swathes of the city. At least 2 people killed as a bomb hits a police vehicle in Afghanistan's capital on Sunday. Rising number of blasts caused by small magnetic bombs placed under vehicles have occurred in the recent weeks, which many have blamed on the Taliban. Tally of COVID cases worldwide surpasses 11 crore 20 lakh. Total recoveries stand at 8 crore 73 lakhs. Deadly virus has claimed over 24 lakh 79,000 lives globally. The United States continues to remain the worst affected from COVID, where more than 2 crore 87 lakh cases have been registered. The country has reported over 5 lakh 11,000 deaths due to COVID. Again in the US, Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation releases latest projection on COVID-related deaths. According to the institute, death toll in the United States may exceed 589,000 by June 1st, which means that over 90,000 people may die from the disease in less than 100 days. The IHME has also warned about the threat of new variants of coronavirus. It projects that by late April, the new variant discovered in the UK may account for 80% of total infections in the United States. Australia's most populous state, New South Wales, began rolling out COVID-19 vaccinations on Monday. Special Health Accommodation Cleaning Supervisor Gayatri Velangalur Srinivasan was the first person on Monday morning to receive the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine in Sydney. Government of England plans to open schools in England from March 8th. Vaccines Minister Nadeem Zahawi has said, as per the guidelines, only 2 families or 6 people will be able to meet outside from March 29th as the country's COVID restrictions are eased. Israel reopens swathes of its economy, including malls and leisure facilities, with the government saying the start of a return to routine was enabled by COVID vaccines administered to almost half the population. Government of Israel launches coronavirus Green Pass system, which allows people who have been vaccinated to access public facilities that would otherwise be off limits. The Green Pass is given to people who have had both doses of the vaccine more than a week prior or covered from the disease with presumed immunity. Worshippers and clergy at one of the world's biggest churches joined others to back a petition in Belgium to scrap rules which impose a 15% limit on attendance at Mass. They describe the rules as absurd. During the country's second wave of COVID infections, the Belgian government has decided to limit access to places of worship. Gaza received 20,000 doses of Russia's Sputnik V COVID vaccine from the United Arab Emirates, a move secured by Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas's rival, Mohammed Dahlan, who is based in the Gulf state. Pink migratory birds flocked to the Nerul area of India's western Navi Mumbai city. The birds have migrated to the city as part of an annual phenomenon. Paris's rooftop workers, who count a workforce of 500 in the city, are seeking UNESCO recognition for their savoir-faire. Rooftop workers in Paris have submitted an application to France's Culture Ministry, and France's Culture Minister will make her recommendation for the country's final candidate for the UNESCO list to the President in March. In Canada, visitors to the world's largest snow maze in Manitoba will now find more space. Owners of the maze have expanded it to 91% in a bid to avoid spread of COVID-19. UK's 21-year-old Jasmine Harrison has set a new world record. She completed the approximately 3,000-mile journey from the Canary Islands in 70 days, 3 hours and 48 minutes. Cambridge University revealed a time-lapse recording showing a rare cactus moonflower blooming in its Bonn Botanic Garden. The moonflower flower is believed to be the first of its kind to bloom in the UK. 8-month-old tiger Sherhan in Russia's Barnaul Zoo makes melodious sounds to draw his mother's attention. He was filmed in the zoo forest fairy tale. Sherhan has been making such sounds ever since he was a little cub. 139-year-old San Francisco house gets a brand new address. Extensive team of engineers and construction workers load the house onto a flatbed truck, moves it from its lot on Franklin Street to a new home several streets away on Fulton Street. Spectators in San Francisco turn out to cheer and take pictures as the 5,000-square-foot house begins its journey to a new location. Owner of the house has sold the property to a developer who plans to build condos on the original site. In the US, visitors flock to Niagara Falls to witness beautiful views of the fall covered in ice below and draped in rainbows from above. Visitors were seen capturing pictures and enjoying the beautiful, picturesque scene. Artist in Spain draws on a colorful mural showing arrows through the heads of former Spanish King Juan Carlos. Artist draws graffiti to protest against the jailing of rapper Pablo Hasél for glorifying terrorism and insulting the monarchy in his songs. Spanish artist also draws the graffiti of late dictator General Francisco Franco. Artist's peaceful demonstration contrasts with 5 nights of clashes in Spanish cities between protesters and police. Triumph, a koala in eastern Australia, has received the world's first prosthetic foot, especially designed for the marsupial. The male koala was born without a right foot. Karnataka will host the second Khelo India University Games later this year. Khelo India University Games aimed at tapping sporting talent who can represent India in international events, including the Olympics. FC Goa put paid to Bangalore FC's playoff hopes with a 2-1 win in the Indian Super League. Kerala Blasters FC hold Chennai FC to a 1-1 draw, spoiling their rivals' chances of finishing the season on a high in India's Super League. Indian boxers continue impressive run at 30th Adriatic Pearl Tournament in Budva, Montenegro. Vinka and T. Sanamacha Chanu clinch 2 more gold medals for the country. Sri Lanka's fast bowler Lahiru Kumara tests positive for COVID ahead of West Indies tour beginning from the 3rd of March. New Zealand beat Australia in first T20 international by 53 runs, take 1-0 lead in 5-match series. Devon Conway's unbeaten 99 off 59 balls helps New Zealand thrash Australia by 53 runs in opening T20. Manchester United move back up to second position in Premier League table with hard-fought 3-1 victory over Newcastle United at Old Trafford. Marcus Rashford scores opening goal of match in 30th minute to give Man United 1-0 lead. Manchester City extend winning run across all competitions to 18 matches with narrow 1-0 triumph over Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. Raheem Sterling heads in the only goal of the game inside the opening 2 minutes of the match, and City were comfortably able to keep Arsenal at bay despite some rare opportunities for the host. Both teams now turn their attention to European competition, with Arsenal facing a trip to Athens for the Europa League last 32 second leg against Benfica, while Man City face off against Borussia. In League One, Monaco defeats Paris Saint-Germain 2-0 as the defending champions drift 4 points behind league leaders Lille. Tiger Woods hopes to play in the Masters at the Augusta National in April after undergoing a 5th back surgery. Greece's artist and director Dimitris Lignadis appears before magistrate in Athens after being arrested on charges of rape as Greece's Me Too movement strikes the country's arts establishment. Hollywood actor James Francos reaches settlement deal in 2019 lawsuit which accuses Franco of intimidating his students into sexual situations at an acting school. American singer and songwriter Nick Jonas will be host and musical guest for popular late-night comedy show Saturday Night Live on February 27th. Range Media Partners reunites with actor Chris Hemsworth. Company has reunited the actor with his former creative artist agency agent. American filmmaker Zack Snyder's second feature of 2021 to be released on the 21st of May. Bollywood actors Deepika Padukone and Akshay Kumar bagged Dadasaheb Phalke Award for Best Actor. Late Bollywood actor Sushant Singh Rajput also honoured with Dadasaheb Phalke Award for Critics' Best Actor posthumously. Actor Varun Dhawan shares a teaser of his upcoming movie Bhediya. Bollywood actress Taapsee Pannu shares BTS image from sets of her upcoming movie project Dobara. The project also marks a reunion with director Anurag Kashyap. Bollywood's Kangana Ranaut announces wrap-up for shooting of her next action film, Dhakkar. Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan's much-anticipated movie Pathaan will now hit theatres in 2022. Kartik Aaryan starrer Bhool Bhulaiya 2 set to hit theatres on November 19th this year. And well, That's all we have for you in this edition of Express News. We hope you enjoyed watching all the top 100 stories making headlines across India and the world. We'll be back again tomorrow with Express News with more top stories. Namaskar.
ग्लोबल टॉय इंडस्ट्री 7 लाख करोड़